Welcome back to the channel. In this ongoing series of videos, I've been going through some different elements of using the COMC platform to buy, flip, and sell cards. In this video, we're going to be specifically looking at setting up a sale, when this is a good idea. So let's go ahead and get into this. The first question I want to ask here is, do putting your cards on sale actually help increase a volume of sales? And I would, from my personal experience, I don't have stats or anything from other people. In my personal experience, I can say, yes, they do help. But, and there's a big but there, part of the thing that I found to be most important, even more important than putting things on sale, is repricing my cards so that I'm not like fall far down the list. If my card falls too far down the list, even if I run a sale, maybe I'm still fifth card on the list and it doesn't really matter that I'm running a sale because people are going to buy those first four cards. But if I have repriced regularly or at least somewhat recently, then the sale can be very helpful. And you can see, I made an update video up through the end of September with all my sales. But October, I ran a sale and I also repriced my cards. And you can see, okay, here's just like one day, the 24th. This is yesterday, when I'm recording right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 cards sold on the 24th. Compared to the average day when I haven't been running a sale or when I haven't repriced my cards recently, on average, I might only sell 2, 3, maybe 4 cards a day, something like this. But when I repriced my cards, immediately I started selling a bunch more. And then when I, later on, after repricing them for a little while, then I also put them on sale and then again have been selling a bunch more. Now, there's a couple things to keep in mind though when you do a sale. Cards from COMC actually show up as sales also on eBay. And people can actually buy your cards directly on eBay. You'll still get the same amount as if you were selling it on COMC, but COMC gets a little bit more money because they charge more when somebody buys it on eBay. However, if there's this card that's on sale, it doesn't appear on eBay as any cheaper. So this card on eBay is that $1.90 price. So this card is the third cheapest price on eBay. This card is actually the cheapest price on eBay. So if somebody wants to buy this card and they happen to be buying it from eBay, which a number of people do. I mean, if you look at my sales, a number of people do buy it on eBay and they're not seeing those sales prices. So this is a good example. Somebody bought this for, I don't know how much it was sold for $17.75 on the COMC platform, probably closer to $20 on eBay. So COMC made that additional money, but this one's sold on eBay. So if, for example, there had been a few cards sale and the sale made it the lowest, actually it wouldn't have been the one that sold on eBay. So that's one thing to keep in mind. That being said, probably 90 to 95% of the sales end up coming from platform directly. As I'm looking down here, there's a handful that come through eBay, but these ones, you can see every once in a while, these ones pop up if somebody buys a card from eBay. In general, sales do help the volume of sales for me by a pretty clear degree. So I have one going on right now, has been happening just for 2 days. And in these 2 days, I've sold 22 items. If you go down here, you can see that I run sales pretty regularly. So I had another one that ended. I had about a week in between this one and the last one. Here's another one that ended, and then I had about a week, just a day. So oftentimes what I'll do, if I have new inventory coming into my COMC account, I won't put it on sale immediately. First, I'll just put it in at the price I think is a fair price. I'll put it in. And then once it's been stale there for a while, once I haven't added anything into my inventory for a while, then at that point, I'll go ahead and run a 11-day, 10% off sale. Some people might choose to do 5%, 15%, 20%, whatever you choose to do. For me, I find 10% works very well because I still have enough room margin for profit. It's a significant amount to maybe make a difference. It's 5%, somebody sees that and it's almost not even a sale sometimes. 10% is enough to actually make somebody decide to go ahead and buy a card sometimes. So I oftentimes have these things running pretty regularly. You can see here that I had a big gap where I didn't have any sales from May 29th up to September 23rd. And that's because during the summer, I was adding a lot of new inventory. So at that time, I felt like, it wasn't worthwhile for me to run a sale when I was already pricing my new cards on there, the lowest on the platform, 99% of them. So I didn't feel the need, and people would find my cards through recently added and stuff like that. So I didn't feel the need to do a sale during that time. But if I haven't been adding new inventory regularly, I keep a sale going pretty much consistently. Each time you do it, you have to pay $1 in the COMC credit. But I find that that's nothing when you consider how many more sales you're getting. I do sometimes have gaps in between on purpose because I want a little bit of time to see if my cards are selling without the sale. Because if I find that my cards are not selling at all if I don't have a sale, then I also recognize that now is a time for me to go and reprice my cards. Now, I have a lot of cards in my inventory. I don't like to reprice them too regularly. There's so many cards. If I want to do that, I have to go through 20 pages of cards or whatever, 33 pages of cards. Going through and repricing 33 pages of cards takes a long time. It is not a lot of fun. And once I've repriced my cards, I also won't want to sale right then because I want to first see if my repriced cards by themselves will bring in a lot of sales. And that's what happened last time. I spent a bit of time over a period of 3 or 4 days repricing all of my cards. And then suddenly I was having all of these sales, so many sales, 10 cards, 15 cards a day. No problem. It was just going, flowing. And then eventually that started to slow down a little bit. And it was like, okay, a lot of the good prices have been snagged up. Let me go ahead now and start running a sale again. And then I went and ran my 10% off sale. And then the sales volume kind of started picking up again. So sales really help with this as long as you're using it kind of strategically. As far as how to determine what kind of price you want to have for it, it's kind of up to you. If you haven't repriced your cards for a really long time, it might be worthwhile to do a higher percentage sale unless you're going to go reprice your cards. Let's walk through here and just show you a few details about the sale. So this is a couple things to keep in mind. So you are going to be paying $1 per 10,000 items that you have in your store. Plus you're going to have to pay an additional 1% of the original asking price. So, usually they take a 5% transaction fee. Essentially, they're taking a 6% transaction fee now, basically, at the time of the sale. You can choose it now. You can choose it, if you want to time it so that, in 11 days, you have 2 weekends. It's not about start one on a Thursday or a Friday. It runs through and gets 2 weekends and 2 Fridays. And then you can choose a base number. So I usually go to 10%, but you can do whatever you want. You can also, once you've set up, like if there's certain cards you want to have 50% off and certain cards you want to have 5% off, you can actually go through and change the cards. You can change each one individually. And then you could save that. Whatever you've done, you can actually end up saving it, and then you can import it for future sales. So that way, if you've made some decisions on certain cards that are going to be 50% off, certain cards that are going to be 5% off, certain cards that are going to be 0% off, whatever it is, you can actually save that so that in the future, if those cards are still there, you can put them on sale. And if it's not one of those cards, it will just go to your base 10%. But otherwise, it will go into that. And I did that once at the beginning, but now I just do a solid 10% off every time. And then the other thing here is usually, in the section here, if you go to on sale cards and people navigate to your page, the top 12 cards, the most expensive 12 cards will populate, but you can actually click and select the specific 12 cards you'd like to showcase. If there's some reason, if there's certain cards that you think are a really good deal, are going to be really popular for some people, there's certain cards that you can showcase there. That's what that check is for. So basically, you're going to go through this process. You're going to save the changes and continue. I hope that I don't accidentally start one. I'm not going to approve because I've already got one going on. But then this is where you can see your base discount. You can see when it's going to start. And then these are going to be the 12, for me, the 12 highest, most expensive cards. But, you can choose whatever you want there. And then you're going to approve the promotion. Boom. And then it starts a couple hours later. It's really straightforward, but it gets your sales going pretty well. Now, as a buyer, advantages to knowing, to thinking about buying from people who are running sale. One thing that a lot of people don't do on COMC, but one thing I find to be very useful is actually finding sellers who have good deals, sellers who will sometimes more commonly going to accept best offers, things like this, or who have automatically accepted best offers on. And one of the ways to find some of those sellers is to find stuff on sale, but the prices are not that bad. So this might be one that I would want to look at, see if there is something. And this guy doesn't have that much for sale, so this maybe isn't the greatest example. But you can find some different people. I usually go by recently posted. This guy's just having a 24-hour sale. So I'll check it out real quick. I don't know if he accidentally chose one day. He only has 82 cards, so he's probably not a seller I'm going to find a whole lot of stuff from. I don't see too much I like just right there. But I'll go through and I'll find a seller that has some good deals, and I'll try to remember that seller. Buy a lot from one seller. If you can find one seller that has a lot of good deals, you can find a lot of cards that might be worth buying. Another option is if you can find sellers, like Chris Sewell, for example, his name is Sewell on COMC, he'll automatically accept a certain percentage off without even going to him. It's just an automatic acceptance thing. So I'll sometimes look through his cards to see what he has. But this is a good way to find sellers who have stuff that you like, so that you can keep them in mind for the future. I do wish it was a little bit easier to search by seller in general. So if you do find a seller, like if I find Chris Sewell is a good example. I really wish I could just type in Sewell and find like his storefront. If you happen to know the person's, I'm in baseball card collector, dealer, investor in that order. I'm at his page now because I just happen to know his username. I've been to his page enough where I know it, and I know that he'll take a certain percentage off automatically without even going to him. So I'll look through his cards occasionally. If you find other users, you might want to, there's not like a way to save it on the platform. You'll probably just want to save their username like in a Microsoft Office document or whatever, so that you can go in and check every once in a while. I do wish there was a way to search by user or to save users. You know, if there's a certain user that you find that has good deals or the kinds of cards that you like to have, that they have them regularly. I wish you could save it. It's one of the biggest things I've actually suggested in past videos, and I wish that COMC did, is they would, if they could help create almost a storefront kind of experience for your own port. You know, if I could set up, even be able to modify a few little things in my own port. Somebody went to my port, that there was some way I could even personalize this a little bit. You know, I don't know how they would do that exactly, but put a little banner of your own or just something to make it kind of personalized. And then where some people could save it so that they could come back and check out your stuff every once in a while. I do think having some stuff that was tailored to being able to have your own individual store could help a lot, because you know that's one of the advantages that people have on eBay, is people can actually build kind of a brand for their cards, so people can follow them. People know it's there. They'll come back there. They'll look specifically at their store. On COMC, it's less common. Usually people are just looking for specific cards and they don't even know who they're buying it from. They don't even notice anything about that. But if there was a little bit more space for there to be an actual storefront, I think that would be awesome. If COMC is watching this video, that's one of my big suggestions. I've given it in the past, and you've taken a bunch of my suggestions and actually done stuff with them. I don't think it was because of me. I'm not saying that, but a lot of my previous suggestions have actually turned into realities over the past couple of months, especially, which I think was just very cool. I'm very happy with the direction a lot of stuff has been going in COMC, but I do think of all of the different things they could do, this is one of the very biggest ones. If they could create a user experience for the seller to allow them to kind of create their own store, I think that would help a lot. I could link it in my YouTube videos or something like that. I think some people do that. Maybe I should do that. But I don't feel that it's the common way for people to go about finding cards. They're just looking for whatever cards they're looking for. They're not looking at your store. So that is one thing that I wish COMC would do. But the way that you can do that, since COMC doesn't do that, is through sales, finding people who have good deals and then actually just saving their username and then just go and check it every once in a while. If you use sales, or if you have tips and tricks for how to use sales, please do leave them in the comments below. Way anybody watching this video can go and get some other tips and tricks from you guys as well. But for now, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.